city of Union City, a cosmopolitan city where almost all of us have seen each other. We are like a large family that through the management of our representatives, they help our citizens. And our people do volunteer work because they know that the city is run by a mayor who has shown that he is not the common politician, but that he works for his community. This program is an extension of information, where we are going to have participation of personalities from the public and private sectors so that they can keep us informed of the community. May that be educational activities and everything that benefits us.
Good evening, Union City, the Dream City. As every Sunday 7 p.m. we are here, the Dream City, a YouTube program. My name is Kennedy NG, and tonight we have a very special guest, my friend Sol Rivera. And Sol have a lot of information, educational information about her background. Her title is, I believe it's translator. So is that translator?
It's actually court translator.
Court translator.
Or court interpreter.
Can you tell the Dream City, Union City, about you, your background, and probably a little bit about your educational background too?
Sure. Well, when I was 4 years old, my parents actually immigrated to the United States to be specifically New York City. So when I came to USA, I actually did not even speak a word of English. So, you know, at 4 years old, kindergarten, but you know how it is, children do, you know, we're sponges.
You learn like 1, 2, 3 years.
Exactly.
It's not my case. I came to the United States when I was 17 years old.
Okay, so you
It's harder.
Yes. At 4, if you think about it, English would probably be my first language, only because I learned how to read and write English first.
I can see that. And you just speak English just perfect.
Oh, not perfect, but thank you.
Very good. Where did you go to school?
Well, actually, when I was 4 years old, like I said, we came to America, but to live in the Bronx, in New York City.
Do you remember what part of the Bronx?
Exactly. It was the South Bronx then. It was actually Jackson Avenue. It was train number 6. I remember exactly where it was.
Can you picture your classroom, your friends, your teachers, if you remember the name of your teachers that impact you?
Actually, yeah, I was very blessed because, like I said, we actually moved to another neighborhood where a new school had been built. And I'll never forget. It was PS 134. And then it became CS because they changed it from public to community school. So I was very blessed to start as a kindergarten.
Were you popular in your kindergarten classroom?
No, actually, I did not speak a word of English, so I was very shy.
Wow.
Yes.
You are not shy now.
No, took me a while.
That's a good thing. Any memories that about your teachers, the first grade, the second grade, the third grade? You know, as students, we always have teachers that you take it as a floor model. You know,
Definitely,
can you tell me about it?
Definitely, I would say my first grade teacher, Miss Freeman. I'll never forget her name. And why do I remember her? Because she was just lovely. The fact that I was just starting to speak English and to learn the language, you know, they were very patient with me. But by the end of the year, I was already fluent.
So, can you describe to the Dream City, and you know that we are here in Union City, about your career, your profession? Is it court translator?
It's called court interpreter.
Can you teach me about it?
Sure. Actually, I was very lucky to fall into this, and it was actually by accident. On a given day, this was about 32 years ago, someone called. They needed a translator. I actually didn't have any training. I went in, and I did very well translating at the last minute to cover for someone. I was able to speak both languages almost equally because I studied in Puerto Rico, 8th and 9th grade.
Okay.
So that's where I learned the language. And from then, I saw that I had an aptitude and that I really enjoyed it. And they actually requested me to come back. So I decided to take it seriously. And then I applied myself and I began to look into courses and studying to get certified.
What make you go into that directions? I know that it's very interesting and sometimes could be sensitive.
It could be very sensitive. But as a matter of fact, I feel that I was almost a natural, because even when I was 10 or 12 years old, I could remember family members and neighbors coming by and asking me, can your daughter come by and read this letter for us? Or can she accompany me to a doctor's appointment? Or can she help me fill out this application? So it was almost like...
Did they pay you for that?
No. When I went back to Puerto Rico, by the way, to study at 8th grade, I had never taken a class in Spanish, and I was able to pick it up right away. And I actually stayed and graduated with second honors.
Your parents used to speak to you in Spanish or English?
When I was 4 years old, of course, they would speak to me in both languages, I would say. And of course, that would be my first language. But like I said, when it came to reading and writing, English was really my first language. But more so, they spoke to me in Spanish.
So tell me, or describe a difficult session in court while translating, if you can remember one.
I can actually remember a couple. I actually have experience working both in Superior Court, Municipal Court. Actually, most of the courts. Workers' Comp, I did 5 years. Immigration law, Immigration Court, also I worked. For me, I think the most difficult part was, I could actually mention at least 2 or 3, but I'll say 2.
Okay.
You know, sadly enough, you know, I would say it was a child molestation case where I had to interpret for the defendant, and for the first appearance I was able to do it, but when it came to the sentencing day, I actually asked not to be sent, because it does affect you, even though you're supposed to stay very professional and in control of your emotions, but because you have training, and all you do is, you're actually considered almost like an instrument. But still, we're human, and we have feelings.
We have a heart.
Exactly, and we have compassion, and we have children, and so I would say that my most difficult case where I interpreted it was a child molestation case. But also I had difficulties also. This one's very good too. I worked in Patterson Superior Court for a while, and for me it was very painful interpreting for the parents when it came. They had an issue with gang members, and I had to interpret for the mostly for the parents of the teenagers that were being sentencing after committing crimes because they became part of being a gang member. And to me, that was painful, to see the pain in the parents' faces that their children would take that route.
Wow. So do you work as a self-employee, or you have a company, or you work for the company?
That's a very good question, because when I first started, an interpreter, once you get certified, because you have to study, you have to prepare and pass the test. It's a 3-part test. It's simultaneous, technique that you have to learn, and also consecutive and sight translation, and a written portion.
You took in Trenton?
That is correct. And once you get certified and you get on that list, you have a choice. You could either become a full-time staff interpreter in Superior Court. Well, I decided that I was going to freelance because I had a son, a young child who was in preschool, and I wanted to have the flexibility of spending time with him and also working. So I actually went into freelancing, which was very interesting and exciting, because I went throughout the whole state. I would go from county to county, and I would work on different trials. I would be hired by attorneys. I would do private case. So more so as a freelancer.
I'm going to tell you a secret.
Yes.
I never talk about this, but when I was working in a psychiatric hospital,
yes,
as a music therapist, I took the test to be bilingual, because being bilingual in any position by that time, I don't know now, for the state, they increase your salary like 11% more.
Now, when you say bilingual, did you take a test to be a translator?
I'm going to tell you this.
Oh, okay.
This is the secret.
Okay.
I took the test, the 3-part test. So I took the test, and I got 100.
Wow.
So when I received the score, I received the score with a little note saying that I have the certification to be a court translator.
Wow.
I never use it.
Wow.
And that was a long time ago. I was looking for my 11% more on my salary. That was it.
Wow, that is excellent. And you never
No. But I really like it doing it. Like, but you know.
Yes.
That's your job.
I actually do enjoy it. Like I said, I also feel like I have a connection with the community because you're on a one-to-one basis. I mean, when I used to work in Superior Court, for example, I used to work in one given day, you'll be doing family cases, family court, meaning like child support custodies, divorces, domestic violence. Unfortunately, a lot of domestic violence. That was one bad case that I could also remember. And you could either do a civil trial in the same given day or criminal cases. So that makes it exciting because it's very versatile, you know?
While in court, can a client ask the judge to change the translator because maybe the person is not happy with the translation the person is doing? Happened to you?
Absolutely not to me, but absolutely. A person has a right for whatever reason. If they don't feel comfortable with the interpreter, they have the right to ask the judges that they would prefer to have another interpreter assigned. I've been lucky. I just celebrated, and you did not even know this, I just celebrated last week a 30-year anniversary of working.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Of working in municipal courts. And I was very lucky that in 30 years, not to say that once in a while I would have one individual or two that was difficult or wanted me to say things in a different manner,
and that's the sensitive part of it.
Exactly.
They wanted whatever they wanted to say.
Yes. I've had that on some cases, but for them to actually go out of the way and request to have me replaced by someone else, I was very lucky.
If that happened, they have to adjourn the case.
It's in Superior Court. Actually, we work as a team. And we actually rotate. Simply, you could be replaced.
There is another person that
could come in and jump.
Okay. And that's what I want.
That is correct.
To know.
Now, in municipal court, it's a little bit more different. I think the judge would actually ask questions, specific questions, so they could find a foundation, a real basis as to why this interpreter is not.
Okay, and that makes sense.
Yeah, then they will make maybe adjustments.
It's not because I don't like you. I'm going to ask the judge to switch.
And the judges actually have the right to render the decision to say, no, I don't see any reason, any issue, so we're gonna continue.
And I guess the judge will know,
especially the bilingual judges.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, that's a very good point as to the bilingual judges. I'll say it really quick. A lot of people ask me, why is the judge Hispanic? Why can't I just speak directly to the judge and the judge to me? And there is a very good reason, by the way. Very good reason. Everything that is said in court remains on the record. So if it goes to appeal and a judge in Superior Court listens to the case, they can't be listening to what the judge is saying. So the judge is not allowed to speak in Spanish directly to the defendants or the plaintiffs.
So no one can translate if they don't have the certification in court. Like I have a case, I do not speak the language, and I want my wife to go and translate for me. Is that legal?
You know, many moons ago, yes, but a lot of people don't know this either. As of 1978, it actually went into effect by Congress. It was passed, and it's called the Court Interpreters Act. As of 1978, it actually became a constitutional right. And how does that work? It worked in the way that they actually designed programs and training to make sure that the persons that they were actually qualified to do the job. So it's a constitutional right for a person to have an interpreter. And actually at the beginning, yes, a lot of judges were allowing friends and girlfriends and boyfriends and wives and husbands. But can you imagine if the case has to go to, just based on that, it has to go on appeal or no?
And so that's why we call this program very informative, educational, because maybe you know all this information because that's what you do.
Exactly.
And maybe I will know part of it because I'm involved in different type of government jobs. But a lot of people don't know this information.
A lot of people don't know that before 1978, people actually had to pay for their own person to come in and interpret for you. And a lot of times they were not qualified. And so this was a good thing for everyone.
Good. So tell me something.
Yes.
And tell me the truth. Have you had issues with a client because she or he felt they lost a case because of the translation?
Well, not so much in trials. Maybe in depositions and arbitrations where a case is going to be decided upon how much is the value. They actually, yes, sometimes they'll complain as to, well, that's not what I meant, or that's not what I wanted to say. I want to make sure that it comes across the way I want it, the way it was meant, even if we did interpret verbatim. So on some occasions, they might point it out and make sure that they're heard the way they want to be heard, especially when it's a case where a value is going to be placed on it, like a personal injury case. Very important.
Tell me, if not a translator, what other career would you think you fit in? Just imagine that you cannot do
When I was a little girl, I always dreamt of being a school teacher. Always wanted to be a school teacher.
And you have the dynamics to be a teacher.
Always wanted to be a school teacher, or maybe even like a social worker. I think I already had that, where I wanted like the human aspect of it, where, you know, not just worked in an office from 9 to 5 with papers or on the phone. I always wanted to have that human contact, especially involved with the Hispanic community. So social worker, I think, would have, yeah. And as a matter of fact, guess what? It's probably in my blood. We have 3 social workers in my family.
Look at that.
A niece and 2 cousins.
Do they have any, like, a school to teach how to be a translator?
Well, that's very interesting, because when I first started taking courses, the official courses to prepare for the test, because that's what you do. Yes, they do offer courses both throughout, like Montclair, William Patterson, Jersey City State, Rutgers, where I went to in New Brunswick, and NYU, for that costs money. They have excellent programs where you could become certified. But it's funny that you asked that question, because when I first started the training and the courses, the professor said to us, and by the way, I'm going to advise that you all take a drama course officially. We all looked at each other like, what? And said, yes, I'm going, because as a translator, trust me, it's going to come in handy as to when it comes to conveying, for example, feelings or empathy or not. So a drama course, I'm going to please advise, sign up for a drama course. It's going to help you in your career. And actually, the lady that was sitting next to me says to me, no, I think you don't need the drama course. I think you have it down packed. I never took the drama course.
So that I understand.
I never took the drama course.
The body
yes.
language.
Yes.
When you put it together with verbal communication, yes. That's number one.
And there's something called communicative interpretation, by the way, which is not exactly word by word, but that you convey the essence of the meaning. And I think that's where it comes in, but I guess I was born with it.
Actually, where are you working?
Good question, because like I just said, I just had a 30-year anniversary both in West New York Municipal Court that I started in January of 1993 to be exact. 30 years.
Happy.
Thank you. And Sea Caucus 30 years. I'm not no longer there because I've moved on to other contracts and other counties. It's always good to evolve. You know, 30 years is a long time, and I'm very proud of that. And I am in Union City still, as you know.
My city, the Dream City.
More than 15, the Dream City.
And that's why you are here.
That is correct. I'm here, and I'm going to stay here for a while. So and I'm also in Passaic. But I also do work on this freelance for insurance companies and attorneys.
You love Union City, yeah?
I love Union City. Union City's become my main city, although I live in North Bergen. Union City.
So yes. I know during COVID-19, you traveled to Puerto Rico. The courts were closed here in Union City in the United States.
Yes.
How that worked?
Well, I actually felt blessed because we were able to work. The lockdown was only actually for 5 weeks, and after that, they put into effect the Zoom way of doing court and virtually. So I was able to work from Puerto Rico, and I actually had bought an apartment on the beach, which was a dream of mine.
Now I
it's
know.
just a studio
now
apartment.
I know we didn't see you for a while.
No, but I was working virtually. Oh yes, physically you did not see me here.
Now I know.
Now you know.
Okay.
But actually, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I was blessed. I was working full time virtually by Zoom from Puerto Rico for 4 months in 2020 and 4 months.
It is harder virtually to do the translation?
No, it's not harder. It's different. It's different. For example, you can't speak at the same time that the judges are speaking, which is called shadowing. That's a simultaneous technique, which is what is in the embassy. That's what they use. You have to do consecutive.
The reason I'm asking you, because I do court in Union City too, as my part of my duties in my my job.
Correct.
And I find that it is very difficult for the other people that are not used to use computer, waiting for the translation, going to a different room, coming back.
Oh, you mean the virtual rooms? You know, maybe at the beginning it could be tricky or confusing, but after a while, it's like everything in life. You become accustomed. You learn it, and you get used to it, and it actually has its advantages.
Do you feel more comfy translating English to Spanish or Spanish into English?
That's an excellent question, because actually what makes a great interpreter is that you have a balance in both, meaning that you're able to be fluent almost equally in both languages, or 3 languages, like other interpreters that are lucky to have 3 languages. No, the idea is to have a balance, to have a forte. For example, if you're weaker in Spanish, then try to strengthen that. And that's easily done by reading more. So, for example, in that language, that would be the best way to do it. So you try to strengthen the language which you feel that you're weakest at.
Very good. I think that you have had a lot of information for the Dream City, for the community in Union City. I have learned a lot too.
Yes.
And I'm gonna ask you if you have anything that you could add that you may believe we didn't touch during this conversation.
Yes, I do. I hope that whoever listens to this, if you have a niece or nephew or children, or even adults, because I didn't get certified until I was 28, by the way, please, if they have aptitude or they're bilingual, there's a huge need for good translators and interpreters. The immigrants are not going to go anywhere. If anything, it's growing, and it's going to grow more so. And that's a great. Right now, there's a shortage in Superior Court for qualified interpreters. They're using interpreters good enough to translate, even if they're not certified, because there's a shortage. So if you know anyone who's actually bilingual, there are courses out there that you can take that will prepare you to take the test. And it would be an excellent field to go into.
And that's good to know. So to end, if someone wanted to contact you because they wanted your service, where they can contact you?
They can email me at solvvasandvictor@optimum.net. I would gladly return your questions. I've actually helped a few people get started in this field by giving them the information and what to do in order to get themselves started.
Thank you. Thank you for passing by the Dream City, Union City, New Jersey. This YouTube program is every Sunday at 7 p.m. And I'm very happy that you had the opportunity to come here and share what you know about your career.
Yeah.
I know the Union City and the people from Union City in the entire county, I think that they learned a lot about what you do.
So. And I want to thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I feel appreciated, very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. So as I said before, we had Sor Rivera's tonight here in the Dream City. She just gave a lot of information, educational and informative information. I hope you can see the program. I hope you can watch the program next week. The Dream City, 7 p.m., Union City, New Jersey, the Dream City. My name is Kennedy Ng.